Whenever I review a pen display or a drawing tablet, I usually get a comment that goes something like this: can it be used without a computer? This question comes up so much nowadays because tablet computers can be found amongst all walks of life. But sadly, the answer for drawing tablets is usually no, with most companies making tablets as accessories to a laptop or a desktop. That basically makes whatever rating I gave said tablet in said review useless to someone who doesn't already have a computer, laptop, or a phone, especially if they're on a budget. But that is until today. Introducing the PicassoTab from Simbans. It's a fully functioning drawing tablet and Android device, so there's no need to connect this to a computer in order for it to work. Basically, it's a standalone tablet in the vein of the Samsung Galaxy series. The great thing about these types of tablets is that you can download apps right on the device from the Play Store to use for drawing, animating, getting reference, or whatever you want. These apps, while being pretty light compared to desktop apps, are usually pretty cheap and more than capable of creating high quality work. For example, Rough Animator, my go-to mobile animation app, costs only $6 on the Play Store. And for what you get, that's a pretty sweet deal. The PicassoTab variant I'm reviewing today comes in at $250, the same price as the Artist 12 Pro from XP Pen. How does the PicassoTab compare to a dedicated drawing tablet? What are its pros and cons? Is it worth the money? Let's find out. Okay, so here is the PicassoTab all assembled and in person. I'm just gonna turn this off for a second. It is a bit of a fingerprint magnet, as you probably should expect from most touch tablets. They do pick up fingerprints quite well. All you really need to do is just get a wipe that's specific for electronics, wipe it off, and then, I don't know, maybe use a dry wipe to get the rest of the dust off, and it'll look great. I'd know because I have to do it for this video. This is the way I'd use it mostly, set up on a table. And as you can see, I have this third-party stand. This stand is from Capcom. Very, very sturdy. I'll leave the link to this in the description. The case stand is okay, but not for drawing. I gotta say, for drawing, it's pretty mediocre. And usually if you don't have the stand, you're just gonna be using this tablet flat on the desk. So I recommend getting a stand, an adjustable, sturdy stand like this one. I'll leave a link in the description. My first thoughts about this product is that the portability factor is important, that we shouldn't gloss over the fact that having something that can perform digital art tasks and be portable is a victory on its own. So if it doesn't meet some other criteria, it might make up for it because it's portable. So let's keep that in mind. Now let's open up some drawing software. And the software I recommend for this tablet, for animation, I recommend Rough Animator, works great, and Artflow, which for, regular drawings and paintings and things like that. With Artflow, you're gonna get the best performance out of this tablet because Artflow's brush engine is just probably the best out of all of these. You're gonna get the most out of your tablet with this. As you can see, I have set up for my volume keys to be undo and redo. So I undo and I can also redo. I'll show you how to do that real quick. All you have to do is go to this, tap this dot right here, the three dots, go to settings, input. Use hardware keys, use volume key for undo and redo actions. Hit that, make sure it's checked, and then you're all set. And that actually makes for a pretty good experience using this tablet. Although I do have to say the on button keys and the volume keys are not easy to press, especially that on button. They're just not great. That's really all I have to say about that. They do work, they work fine, you'll get used to them, but they're just not the greatest buttons to press. I wish they were just, bumped out a little more so they're easy to press, but as it is, it's fine. I'll get into the drawing performance. Now, do keep in mind, if you're coming from something like the Artist 12 Pro or a drawing tablet that you use with a laptop or desktop, this screen is glass, and you can get a screen protector for it. I'm not sure if they sell a specific one, but I'm sure you can find one on Amazon that'll fit this tablet. That'll make the texture a little bit more, matte, a little rougher to make it more like those dedicated drawing tablets, but that'll increase the parallax between the pen and the screen, and I don't think that's really what I want to do. So it does take some adjusting to get used to the drawing on the glass screen. I've gotten pretty used to it from the weeks I've been using this, so I have to say the glass screen is not bad. Drawing on the screen isn't bad, but the drawing software itself, the performance of this pen is probably a C compared to those dedicated drawing tablets. It's just, it's okay for what it is. Like, I know my regular circles, as you can tell, my regular circles that I can just make really easily on pen and paper or on a dedicated drawing tablet are kind of squarish. You can see that hexagonal effect a little bit. when you do that. So as you can see that effect when you draw really quickly, your lines sort of get kind of squarish. You expect that to see that on a lower end sort of drawing tablet, and it definitely happens here. That is to be expected. That's where I'm saying that portability can kind of make up for that kind of stuff, because if you're doing this on the go, maybe you can just get a sketch down, which is usually what I do, like what I'm doing right now. And it works great. So that's about sketching. Sketching is pretty good on this tablet. I don't really have a lot of problems there. But what about digital painting? And so when I first got this tablet, I started making a painting. I was just getting into digital painting and I wanted more practice. And this is what I made. So I say it looks really, really good. The tablet drawing performance doesn't really hold you back. It does take some getting used to, I will say. But after that, it doesn't hold you back, especially because Artflow is just such a wonderful program for Android tablets for drawing. It's just a really, really good program. The brushes here on Artflow allow you to edit them as well, so you don't really have too much trouble. You can change the size, spacing of a brush. So you really have a lot of options here in Artflow, which is, I'll probably have a dedicated review of Artflow in a separate video because it's just such a good app. It really does bring the best out of this tablet. So I'll show you what my layers look like real quick. Here are all the layers. So if you get a program like this, which will run you about maybe $4 to $6, you're really gonna get a good experience on this tablet. But I think this is the best experience you can get on this tablet. And I'm gonna show you why in a second. I'm gonna open up Rough Animator. Now the drawing experience in Rough Animator is not as good as it is in Artflow. So I'm just gonna open up this thing I was working on. The drawing experience just is not as good. So we have even more of that hexagonal, that jittery line problem, as you can see here. The reason it fixes itself because I had to turn on a little bit of smoothing to get rid of it. So my smoothing's on 3. If I print down to 0, you just get these really low quality lines. And that could be Rough Animator's fault, as we see that Artflow didn't have that issue, but Artflow did have the issue when you draw really fast, your circles begin to kind of square out. I'm not sure Rough Animator has it. So it will depend. Rough Animator has it a little bit, but it's, it's not really as noticeable since you have these very sharp divots in the lines. So just turn the smoothing on and it should make it much better. I keep mine around 3. So as for the PicassoTab pen, it's just probably a C on the scale of drawing tablet pens. It's not very good, but it's definitely usable and you can definitely get used to something like this. One thing I forgot to mention about the drawing experience is palm rejection. As you can see, the drawing tablet does come with a glove that I'm wearing right now. I knew about this tablet before Simbans reached out to me asking if they'd like me to review it. And what I saw before was that the palm rejection wasn't great. A lot of reviewers said that there was a lot of marks on the edges and that the palm rejection wasn't really that good. And I don't know if they've upgraded it with this version, with this newer version. I don't think it's that bad. So I have the glove on right now, and as you can see, as I'm rubbing my palm on this side right here, you're not really picking up anything. So let me start a new image and we'll just try to draw something and see what it picks up. We'll just do the default size. So let's see, I'll just draw like this. As you can see, my hand is on the screen. And I am wearing the glove, so I'm not sure if the glove would help or not. However, in my experience, it seems like it does help, but I can't really be sure on that. Yeah, so, I mean, wearing the glove is actually a pretty good experience on this. I haven't really experienced any marks when I'm wearing the glove and I have the whole getup on, but without the glove, I think you might get some marks. So let's see. Yeah, if you don't wear the glove, you're probably gonna get some marks. I think that's where some of the reviews are a bit unfair because when I wear the glove, I don't get a lot of issues with palm rejection. So I'd have to say as an overall verdict, the palm rejection of this thing is pretty good as long as you're wearing the glove. I understand that some people don't like wearing drawing gloves. Some people's hands are more moist than others and it may be an uncomfortable fit for you or whatever it may be. So do keep that in mind. I can really approve of this tablet for sketching and for painting, but what about animation? So I really do like this tablet for animation, and I'll pull up some of my animations right now. Here's just a regular bouncing ball that I animated with Rough Animator. I really like this tablet for rough animation because since the pen isn't so great, I'd rather export this from Rough Animator, put it onto my computer and finish it in OpenTunes or something like that with my Artist 24 Pro or with just a dedicated drawing tablet, because finishing work on this tablet can be a bit difficult when the drawing performance just isn't that good. So yeah, definitely for sketching and for painting, I can say that it works really, really well. But I wouldn't use it personally for final animation since I do have a better option. I do have the option to use something else, so my opinion is going to be different than somebody like a beginner who just has this. You can definitely make animations on this if this is your only device. But for me, the drawing performance just isn't good enough for me to finish animation on it. With that said though, I have made many rough animations on this that I'm really, really proud of. And one of them you'd actually already seen in this video. My new channel intro was actually completely sketched and animated using Rough Animator and the PicassoTab. Then I exported it to OpenToonz to do the finishing, color, and shading and stuff like that. But seriously guys, I animated this whole thing using the PicassoTab, and honestly, it looks great. This is probably how I'm going to use the PicassoTab most of the time, just for sketching animation and really ironing out that rough animation phase and then finishing it on my computer. Now we just discussed the pen, let's talk about the screen. And the screen is not great. The screen is very low resolution. However, I will say that I'm glad that they cut this corner here. Now the screen is 1280 by 800, so that's just above 720p. And it's not bad, it's sufficient. And that's all that it is. You can notice the pixels when you open apps like Discord. You can see some pixelation here. It's visible. I'm not sure how well you guys can pick this up on camera, but you can definitely notice the pixels here and people's logos. And yeah, so it's not the highest resolution screen. However, I'm glad that they did pull back on the screen to reach that $250 price point. I think the drawing performance can kind of make up for it, and you can definitely get used to using a screen like this. That is to say, the audio drivers on this tablet are very much not great, which is gonna go to my overall point. Because of the screen and the audio drivers, this isn't really an entertainment device. It's definitely good for a budget tablet, but for entertainment like watching movies, watching YouTube videos, or listening to music, it's just not there. Although I can recommend it for drawing, taking notes, and stuff like that, I really can't recommend it for entertainment if that's what you're looking for. And that kind of gets into the specs of this tablet. The variant that I got is the variant that I recommend you all get, which is the 4GB of RAM with the 64GB of storage. I do not recommend the 2GB, 32GB storage version. And that's because the drawing apps on this tablet run really well, and 64GB of storage is plenty of space to store all of your paintings. However, this new version with the 4GB of RAM also has a new processor, which runs a bit faster than the old version. So I don't recommend getting the old version. I strongly advise that you get the one 4GB of RAM, that new processor, and the 64GB of storage. This version runs drawing apps great, but games do not run great. And I'm just thinking, if games don't run on great on this one with the newer processor and more RAM, they're definitely not gonna run great on the 2GB version. Let me show you an example. I'm gonna open up Bloons Tower Defense. You gotta be kidding me. So you can see the pixelation around some of the 3D models in this game. Although the colors are okay, the screen just doesn't look too great for you gamers out there. Just gonna go to the first map. So you're gonna get some occasional stutters. It's running pretty smoothly now, but as you guys know who play this game, that as the waves go on, the amount of performance your device needs to put up is more. And when you get to the more intense parts of this game, the processor just doesn't really keep up. The same goes for when you're playing multiplayer. The Wi-Fi chip on this thing is okay for, listening to music maybe, but playing games, I don't think it's really that robust. Moving on, this tablet has some really large compatibility, which makes exporting work or connecting to different devices really, really easy. So it has Bluetooth. You can connect your Bluetooth headphones to this. It has a headphone jack, a mini HDMI port, so you can plug this up to a monitor or a TV. Then that would be really good for presentation. I actually had to do a presentation about animation a while ago, and this thing would have been awesome if I could plug this to a projector like it was back then. So of course you got your USB-C for charging. The connections on this are actually really, really good. And since it's an Android device, Androids are kind of more like computers. When you plug it up to your computer, you can just move files really easily, make folders, or do whatever you want. So overall, what is my verdict with this tablet? I think it's a decent tablet. I think the price point's really good. It's cheap. I believe a beginner who doesn't have a computer could definitely consider this. The portability aspect of this thing is major, and that's why I kind of give it a pass on the drawing performance and maybe the gaming performance, because it's completely portable. One thing I love to use this thing for, which you guys actually don't know yet, is to make thumbnails. You guys saw this painting of my character Kimi alongside of the thumbnail of my walk cycle tutorial. And I used this drawing of Pi for my OpenToonz custom rooms tutorial. It's really, really good for when I'm not at the desk. I can just sit down somewhere. I can just draw my thumbnails without having to, turn on the main setup, sit at my desk and make some artwork. This is a really great option for those of you on the go or maybe aren't at your main setup all the time. That's the way I mainly use this. I don't think that this is an entertainment device by any means. You can play games and watch movies and YouTube on it, but the audio drivers on this tablet aren't great. Along with that, for gaming, the processor really just can't handle those sorts of programs very well. So in conclusion, I can really recommend the PicassoTab from Simbans. As an animator myself, I love having the option of getting some work done on the go. My message to Simbans is, what can you do for just a little bit more money? What can you get for maybe $450 or maybe just $400? Can we get a better screen? Can we get more RAM? Can we get a snappier processor? I would really like to see some tough competition for those Galaxy tablets out there. So there you have it. Thank you so much to Simbans for sending this tablet to me for review. There's just a few things I'd like to mention that I didn't get to in the video that you all should know. This tablet is capable of multitasking, so you can have YouTube on while you're animating or something like that. Do note that it only does work for supported apps. It works great for rough animators, so you can watch an animation tutorial from the Noble Frugal Studio while you animate. It's actually really cool. There's also a slot for inserting a TF card, which is kind of like an SD card. I assume it's for adding more storage. So I definitely wanted to get that mentioned to you guys in case you plan on expanding. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, leave me a like and consider subscribing to the channel. I'll see you all next time. Peace.